Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for tonight's Newcastle United transfer show. Of course, we thought about popping another one of these in because we are being linked with every player under the sun at the minute. But Alex has picked a couple out that will make interesting conversation today. That there's no doubt about. I know who the first one is for once, and again, I can pronounce the name, which is rather nice as well. So, looking forward to getting stuck into this tonight. But if you do enjoy the show, please do give it the thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe if you enjoy what you see. And of course, you can support the channel in the usual two ways, which is membership. We've got some prizes to give out, certainly on TTR Friday. So be a member for that, and of course. Super chats are available, which is the live dollar sign at the bottom of the live chat, and that will get you your comments guaranteed to be read out on the show. And of course, a big thank you to our sponsor, Mamaroo Records. If you're ever in Whitley Bay, call in and see Steve for all your music needs, vinyl, merchandise, etc. And if you can't get into Whitley Bay, their website is pinned at the top of the description. And don't forget, we now have a sister channel, which is going to be going live very soon. Billy was doing a watch along tonight, but unfortunately he's poorly and can't do it. He hasn't been in the best of health lately, so we wish Billy the very best in getting back to fight and fitness. But there will be a video coming up on there this week. We'll do Premier League predictions and things like that coming up on there. So get yourself subscribed. That is at the top of the description as well. Evening, Alex.
Good evening.
And how are you? A few days since we've seen you.
Yeah, very well. It's been busy times.
Now we've got a transfer show, Alex, but obviously you missed the match review last night. Do you want to just sort of gloss over your thoughts on the game now that the dust has settled and where you see the team moving? Certainly, against Palace, which obviously we've got the review tomorrow night, but what needs to change?
I don't think it's panic stations. It's quite clear where the issues are. Mm-hmm. It's very, very clear. It's obviously a defensive error for the corner that we conceded. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, including Lee Ryder, is it Lee Ryder who did it or whoever? Somebody, probably him, saying that Dan Burn is fantastic and maybe we don't need to sign a defender because we've got Dan Burn. And no. Yeah, we still need to sign a defender. So yeah, it was just a defensive mistake. Nobody tracking Aaron Wan-Bissaka for his goal, and just a whole load of battering ram attempts to score goals at the other end from us. And when the battering ram works, boy, does it work. But it's quite uncouth. It's quite predictable when you've got a solid team in a good shape who are well up for it. They just head balls away all day long, and that's what West Ham did to us. You know, the Livramento overlap to dink to the back post is getting awfully predictable and quite comfortable for teams to clear, especially when we've not really got players who can feed off that. We need, ideally, we need somebody a little bit more creative. So for anybody who is a Patreon listener, this is something that I pointed out the other night in the instant reaction, is a lot of teams have got sort of James Maddison's and Foden's and Palmer's and even Rodgers for Villa. And a lot of teams in the Prem have got that guy who can go head up, quick pass, or head up, through ball, something a bit different. Whereas our attacks are either the counter attacks are great, but when we're playing against a team that's harder to break down, I mean, everybody knows this. Basically, Bruno manages to break free, or someone on the left-hand side. Ball goes to Sean to someone on the right, overlap to Tino Livramento, and then the ball's cut back or dinked to the back post. That is basically how we try and build. That's it.
Yeah.
That's generally mostly that's it. So it's very stale. When it works, all the papers love it and everybody goes, "Oh, it's fantastic." But we can't try and use this. This is something from 2 years ago. We need a little bit. We need a bit of a difference. And the last thing I'll say is, I agree with you and Billy. I think he rolled the dice way too hard in the final 20 or 30 minutes. I like the idea of have a go. Why not? We're losing. We need to make something happen. You've got to make the subs. I do understand that, but I felt like there was far too much too soon. A lot of people didn't know what they were doing. Gordon wasn't quite sure what his role was. Trippier wasn't sure who was on corners. A lot of things to improve. I think Sven Botman coming back will definitely mitigate a lot of this, and a new defender in January. I think those two things have to happen. Sven back, fit and firing, with a new defender is definitely needed. And we need attacking freshness to do the signing. First team attacker. Don't care if it's an attacking midfielder, right winger. Need some freshness. Somebody that can bring something a little bit different to our attack. So it's not panic stations, but that was poor from Eddie and poor from the team.
Right, now I was going to put this poll up last night, but it wasn't giving me the option, but I've solved it, Alex. My actual personal account watching was in the TTR Xtra settings. So I've gone back to TTR and here we are. I've got the option. So I want to just judge. This isn't anything. I just want to judge where the fans are now with this. So I've just put Eddie Howe in, out, or on the fence. That's a poll now up in the description. We'll leave that running for the show.
After one loss, we have an Eddie out.
Mate, honestly, it's crazy. I listen. We had so many asking us to put a poll up last night, and
if people want it, we'll do it. But I think that's ridiculous to put a manager out poll up after one loss.
Well, it's not just after one loss. I think a lot of the discussion last night, Alex, was yes, we lost, but how many times has this happened? Where we suddenly play a team that we're confident of beating and it doesn't work. It's happened against Forest last year, Luton. It keeps happening where. Then the in-game management as well. I understand where people are coming from with the in-game management. So I'm putting it on there just to see where the fans are, where our viewers are on Eddie Howe.
I think this West Ham game was very different to the Luton game, though, because I think we had a barrage of chances in the first half.
Absolutely. But the problem is, Alex, did Fabianski really have to make a big save? He made one from Gordon, which I think he should have scored.
Hence my comment for a different type of attacker to freshen things up, because we are too predictable. It's not the first time where we've created a lot of chances without troubling the goalkeeper. That seems to be quite a common theme.
I was very impressed with Callum when he came on. I thought he looked hungry. So we'll see how that develops. He's determined. I've read an article today in an interview with him saying he's changed his diet, he's changed his sleep patterns, He's learned a lot about the human body from people at the club and behind the scenes, and he's changed a lot of the way he trains and things like that. So hopefully, he wants to stay on the pitch, but we'll see. We'll see how that develops. Michael says, "True, Geordie made a good point today about what was the point of forking out nigh on 100 million quid on two players who don't affect the starting 11, as they don't start, as in Tonali and Barnes." Well, the Barnes one's always going to cause a little. I mean, we've often discussed on this channel, Alex, about the signing of Barnes and how it was a little bit confusing, with Anthony Gordon there. So, and Tonali again sitting on his backside. It's very, very complicated. I'd love somebody on Friday, Alex, in his press conference to actually ask him on this. Why is he reluctant to start Tonali? Because. It's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's odd because it was obviously a signing that was agreed upon by Eddie and Dan Ashworth at the time. It was obviously somebody that was wanted. And look, Paul Mitchell came in the summer and basically said, everything's not really fit for purpose in terms of how we've been recruiting and scouting. And he basically just said, this isn't really not very good.
Yeah.
And upset the apple cart in doing so. And to be honest, if we look at recent history, Karius and Ruddy and Vlachodimos, you've got Tonali who we're not using, you've got Barnes who we're not really using. It's been a bit meh for a little while. The transfers in the last since when was the last ones really affected our first team? Obviously, we bought Tino and Hall as long-term projects. That's fine. We love that. Gordon in that January transfer way back whenever that was, ages ago now.
I understand.
Not really a lot's happened, really. So, I mean, I completely get what Paul Mitchell says, and I think people need to put their egos aside, shut up and take it. Take it. It's your job. It's your salary. Get back in your box, because we want to be the best club in the world. This is the comments of the ownership. So very much get back in your box to people who think Paul Mitchell's shouting his mouth off. He's got the credentials. He's got the CV for it. He can come in and do what he wants. I think he's got the skill set and the knowledge for him to be able to just come in, let him do his job.
I think this is what people
in 3 years' time it doesn't work. Then
yeah. I think though Nick makes a point of a lot of people were a bit, 16 shots and only 2 on target with no shots in the second half. I mean that just isn't good enough, is it? Really? Let's be honest.
It's what we've just talked about. It's lots of chance creation and attacking and battering ram, and the commentary in that game were just talking about our relentless. We were just relentless in that attack against West Ham in the sort of first hour, and then it didn't amount to anything, because it was that final ball, that final pass, that final cross just wasn't really doing anything. We do need to get more on target.
I mean, where do you stand on Eddie Howe at the minute, Alex? Because Billy's kind of done. Billy said last night that he believes that it's just delaying the inevitable at the moment. That maybe a new manager is what's needed just to put a spark into this side again. That in big moments, Eddie doesn't make the right decisions, and Billy's swayed over to the side of maybe it's time for a change.
No, I completely disagree. I think, judging his age, his willingness to learn, I'm happy with Eddie Howe. I think he's done a fantastic job, and I think he's still the man to take us forward. I think he needs more transfer windows. He really does. If we lose transitional period,
if we lose these next 2 games, mate, we'd be down obviously in the bottom half of the table. Do you think then the pressure ramps up because we've got the transfer window coming up? And
not anymore. No, I think he's got enough points in the bag now. I think the conversation we were having when we had that first Chelsea loss, that was then looking bad because we could have exited the cup. There's a lot that could have gone really bad for him. However, he's got 18 points. We've got winnable games going into December. He's got the game against Brentford. He just needs to not completely, go off the rails. He needs to just get some points, get us through to January in the top half. Hopefully beat Brentford and get us to a transfer window. It might go wrong. We might lose some games. However, I do think he's not had the players properly. He needs decent recruitment. Because at the moment, we've actually seen Eddie try a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. He's had a go with 2 up front. He's gone 4-4-2. He's gone 4-3-3. He's tried swapping wings. He's tried build up in different ways. He's tried a lot of different creative things in attack. And we've got too many of the same profiles, which is down to recruitment, which Eddie's had a part in. So he's not innocent in all of this. He signed off.
No, he's not. And I think that has to. The players need to. I mean, I said this on my match reaction. I said it last night on the match review. That the players need to take some sort of responsibility for this as well. And I think Saturday or Sunday, sorry, or Monday night. I do apologize. I'll get the match day right eventually. I just think it was a case of everybody got it wrong. The players didn't. The finishing wasn't there. The creativity. The manager.
If I was Eddie Howe, I'd have been really frustrated with that first half, because Eddie Howe is practicing these attacking patterns and build-up patterns, and he's taught his team to get in the right areas And he needed... How many times did Livramento do a cutback or a back post cross that was to no one? Yeah. He needs to get his head up. How many times are people not in the right place or getting their timing right? Eddie Howe is effectively engineering.
That's nothing
it's not,
new, is
but
it?
This is some of the players need to get more into this, because the chances of being engineered and then the execution is letting them down. That's a technical issue. Eddie Howe can't give them more technical ability. Now, I think pretty much everyone in the chat would agree with me that Eddie Howe is good at improving players technically. I think we've seen that. Yep. So I think there is an element to this where we really do need different kinds of recruitment. Botman and Byrne as the number 1 and 2 centre half, we don't concede that goal. Left-sided centre half. Having a better first team centre half on the right to challenge Fabian Schär this season also fixes a lot of issues that we've had. And then some creative force attacking player on the right hand side that we were meant to recruit that we never did. Again, I think solves a lot of issues. So I think we need to let Howe have those players in, then we can make that assessment. If he gets his right winger and his centre half and we stop signing 40-year-old goalkeepers, let him have his season, as long as the wheels don't completely fall off. Let him have his season with the recruitment, and then we'll see what happens. And if he gets his players in, he can't get it to click, that we keep going inconsistent, we're kind of meandering around mid-table, then fine, they can make another decision. But he needs the right players. We've got the same people doing the same stuff again and again and again. We need different flavors of players, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. A couple of super chats to go through. Just Matt has been a member for 7 months. Thank you very much for your ongoing support, Matt. There's no comment there, but thank you, mate. Jens, thank you for your super chat. You can't leave Tonali out unless he's injured. He needs to play to get his confidence up, and we have lost 8 points now at home. This ain't good enough. Connor Mattia, thank you for your super chat. How are we supposed to attract big names and kick on when we can't beat these teams at home? Or are we ahead of ourselves in terms of expectations? Ian, thank you for your super chat. We have to remember that it will cost millions to sack Eddie and bring in a new manager. That is all money that could be spent on a player. And Dan Robinson celebrating a full year's membership with the channel. Thank you, Dan, for your support, mate. Evening, lads. Finally, a year. Best show on YouTube. Love to you all. Get well soon, Billy. All the best to you, and hope Susan is better too. Susan didn't get the answers at the hospital today that she wanted, unfortunately. It's kind of they're just trying to sort it out by eradicating different things. So they're going to put her on new medication and then see if that works. It's just, she's quite down about it, but we've got to trust in the consultant that she saw today and believe that he is right with the path that we're going to go down to get her making a full recovery. So we'll see how she gets on in the next few weeks, I guess, is all we can say on that. And big shout out to Lady Sam as well, who she unfortunately had to put one of her dogs to sleep on Monday. And she sent us a lovely picture of where she's buried. Lovely little... it's lovely, isn't it, Alex? Like a real sort of shrine to the little one.
Yeah, it's very sad. Animal or human, it's part of the family. It's always very difficult.
So obviously we send all our love and prayers to Sam as well. She's hopeful that she's going to come on Friday night, though, because obviously that'll certainly give her a boost. She's the face of TDR Friday, her and Billy. So we hope they're back with us. Did you see that troll kicking around in there, calling us melts, Alex?
Yeah,
in the chat.
Already banned.
He's gone, yeah. Dear me. Right, let's get on to what we are here for. Oh, dear, I don't want to save that as a PDF. What am I doing? Right, let's, evermore, good evening, Chris. Hope Susan gets well soon, and love to Lady Sam. Pets are family. Absolutely, they are. Absolutely, mate. Right, let's have a look at the first player. And it is a player that I can pronounce, which is a beautiful thing on a transfer show because, as we know, Alex loves to test us. But it is Sergio Ramos, who certainly was in the news at the beginning of the week. He wants to come and play Premier League football. And I said in the news show that I did, I wouldn't mind this happening because I think the experience and everything else that he brings to the dressing room, he won't be first name on the team sheet, but to have him around in the squad, I think it'll be fantastic. But take it away, Alex.
Yeah, so he is a little bit old now.
Well, he
It's
is. Yes,
fine.
he's
It's
38.
fine. He can't be slower than Fabian. Fabian and Dan Burn put together are, well, not probably the slowest centre half pairing in the Prem, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sergio Ramos Garcia. Apparently, he has a surname Garcia that nobody ever pronounces. Apparently, he just goes by Sergio Ramos. Fair enough.
Sounds better.
Lots of people do know who he is. He is currently available on a free, and there have been rumours about him returning to football, about him having a little swan
and
song.
Alex, that he's accepted that he won't command massive wages. He understands that as well, which could be another plus point.
Mm-hmm. For anybody talking about pace, I think that argument, you can pick it up and put it not even on the fence, put it over the fence. We have the slowest centre halves in the league. I'm not having that as a not having that. Not happening.
It's how you read the game as well at centre half. Look at Silva. You know, you just have to look at how he played in his later years. He reads the game.
Thiago Silva and players like that, it doesn't necessarily matter. We could do with a little bit of reinforcements. Fair enough. We would like to sign a proper long-term first-team centre-half.
Yeah, we have to reiterate that
January.
This is just a short-term signing, Alex, possibly even just a 6-month one till the end of the season.
Yeah, it's not my favourite option because I think if we get Ramos, it means we're not getting a first-team centre-half in the January window, which is annoying. I think that is the circumstance in which this is entertained. For people saying it's unrealistic, don't think it is at all. Wages could be okay. He's obviously stated what Paul just said before. Never played. Well, I don't think he's never played in England, as far as I'm aware. Why not? Interesting little project for him. He might want to go to America or somewhere else, but he's not taken any deals, so it could be interesting. 6 months just to guide us. The only thing is we don't really have a lot of pull Spain-wise in the squad. Javier Manquillo was the last player to have gone from Spain. We've not really got a lot of Spanish speakers left. We've got Miggy, obviously Paraguayan, not Spanish. We've not got, and then obviously the coaching setup, not Spanish either. So we've not got the actual experience pull for him. But you never know. He might be interested in the challenge. These are his stats from his last 2,250 minutes. He last played for Sevilla in La Liga in Spain, and they're not bad, to be honest with you. His defensive metrics are outstanding. His passing is of course, fantastic as well. 1 shot per game, which I think you're allowed to let him have 1 shot per game. Long balls are also fantastic as well. If we go and have a look at the complete scout report, it does give you some more. Oh, by the way, I'm just, for anybody who wants to laugh, these are his career accomplishments. 7.
Well, this is what I mean by experience in the dressing room, Alex. You know, the amount he's won is quite incredible. And can I just put in, I've seen a comment coming saying, oh, the poll is ridiculous. It's not us saying Eddie Howe out. All I'm saying is we want to see where our viewers sit with Eddie Howe. It's only just to find that out. It's nothing serious. So it's not ridiculous. It's to find out where our viewers sit with the manager right now. It's just a talking point. Chill. Sorry, Alex.
So the European Championships doesn't seem to be in here, and it should be. So 4-time Champions League winner, 7-time domestic cup champion or domestic league champion, a World Cup, and he's been in FIFA FIFA World 11 times and UEFA Team of the Year 9 times. It's ridiculous. This guy's got more. Well, he's got more trophies than most footballers have got seasons in professional football. It's just absurd. So people want to see his data compared to one of ours. We can do that. I just need to actually, let's go search for Fabian Schär and let's ping him against Fabian, shall we? Let's go back to Ramos and we'll be able to do it. So let's go into our little pie chart and we're going to compare him to Fabian Schär. There we go. So we've got red is Fabian Schär, blue is Sergio Ramos. So not so bad, Fabian Schär, is he? He's just a bit silly sometimes.
Yeah, he's just having a bit of a
Fabian, in terms of progressive passes, carries, take-ons and stuff. He's a very good progressor of the ball as a centre-half. We know he's very silky and technical when he wants to be. But percentage of dribblers tackled and aerials won and tackles and interceptions is all considerably higher for Sergio Ramos. Very good at his defending. It is worth noting that for Sevilla, we have another idiot in the chat with it. Banning. I think it is the same guy. Lovely.
Of course it is.
Where was I? Considerably, yeah. So for Seville last season, he was playing in a back three a lot of the time. So might muddy the statistics somewhat, but yeah, I mean, you guys can see it here for yourselves. He's still a very, very impressive specimen. And in terms of his more detailed data, I mean, this is his shooting metrics as a centre half. So his kind of attacking stuff for a centre half: shots on target, shots on target percentage, goals per shot, penalty kicks, shots from free kicks. He does a lot attacking wise as a centre half compared to others. Passing statistics as well. So passes completed, which are long balls, so passes longer than 30 yards. He's in the 99th percentile for long passes completed, which is fantastic. A lovely metric. Passes attempted as well, does a lot. And pass completion percentage is really, really high. Passes into the final third is really, really tidy as well. So a lot of ball progression there. So some really nice things. We do want that because obviously Fabian does a lot of long ball and ball progression for us. So if we bring in somebody, we can't just completely not have that. We need someone who can kind of. That's why we have to play so differently when Kraft fills in, because he can't really do that. Where we were going, we were going to have a look at who he was similar to in his last data set. So these are the similar players based on how he was kind of profiling stat-wise. You've got Tosin here, who we were looking to sign as a free. Ethan Pinnock for Brentford. Mavropanos for West Ham, who we know is a good player as well. So those are the kinds of players you've got in that little spread. And here is his run-in, sort of halfway through this year. And again, for people saying he's not played in ages, I mean, he finished in like May, so it's not that long. He's fine. It's nothing he wouldn't be able to get back, I'm sure, especially going into sort of January and stuff. So as you can see, Paul, a lot of green there.
Absolutely, very, very good. Chris, drop me a private message, mate. I'm intrigued. Look, for me, I think people are sort of looking at Ramos and thinking, we don't want him. He's too old. But this would very much be a short-term deal. So we have backup in a position that we need backup. Now, I only see this happening, as Alex mentioned earlier on, if we're not going to spend big money on a centre-back in the winter, and we've got other targets in the summer. Now, obviously, I forget the guy's name at Benfica who we're heavily linked to go for in the summer. We may not go for Gahey in the winter. We may just bring in a stopgap just to cover until the summer. We have to wait and see on that. But to have this guy's experience, mate, you can see there, just he's still got it. He still reads the game very well. But it's not a long-term deal if this happened anyway.
Daniel, we signed John Ruddy.
Yeah,
we signed John Ruddy.
His age.
Age is
the
nonsense.
fact that he's free, and if he's free, we can give him a bit more on the wage side. But it would just be a stopgap until the summer. It's not going to be a long-term deal. But there's players who are his age all over Europe performing very well. And this guy is a serial ball winner. He knows how to play the game. He's excellent. And, somebody's saying there that Ruddy isn't going to play though, Alex. But neither might Ramos. Ramos has just would be brought in to bolster the squad. We know who would be the first choice centre-backs. And it's a free transfer.
For people saying that he'd struggle in a high line because of his pace. Yeah, so does Fabian Schär and Dan Burn. What's your point? Yeah, the two people who are the main centre half starters right now really struggle. If we get one ball over the top, they're fumbling. They just can't handle it. I don't understand what the difference is.
Plus the fact Nathan makes a good point. We are lacking leaders. which Ramos would bring into the dressing room. No doubt about it.
I'm sorry, but for me, if we go January to May with a possible pairing of Botman with Ramos, absolute warriors. I appreciate that Ramos has not got the pace and you have to place a certain way to account for that, but we're already doing that with Fabian Schär and Dan Burn. We already know we're going to get caught sometimes. So if we're just going to go for it, does it matter? He would be with us for 5 months. It'd be like Jan to May.
Yeah.
Does it matter just to keep us going?
It's certainly going to be nothing long term, is it? It really not. So
he has 180 caps for Spain, by the way. This guy is madness. The definition of experience.
Yeah. Kieran, thank you for your super chat. He says, I agree, Eddie. I agree, Alex. Eddie needs players through the door, but I don't want him going for players that are playing for teams in the bottom half of any league. Insanity.
He hasn't got to stay in that.
Insanity, thank you for your super chat. Yeah, exactly. Insanity, thank you, mate. Hope Susan and you are okay, Paul. Keep it up, lads. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's very much the transfer windows moving forward are not going to be Eddie Howe say. They're just not, because Mitchell is brought in for a particular reason. Yes, he will discuss things with Eddie Howe, but they're not going to be all in all Eddie Howe's decisions. And I think Eddie Howe has probably accepted that now.
If the way I would like it to work, and I think it's going to work, is Eddie Howe states that he wants X for the squad, i.e. a right wing position, based on the formations and way he wants to play. And then Paul Mitchell is going to go and find options for him. And then they're going to agree and whittle down that list on things that are reasonable and make sense for the squad. It needs to align with the squad building plan and needs to align with wages, long-term strategy, short-term strategy, who's coming through the youth academy. He's got to tick every box. So, it's not going to be Eddie. It's going to be Paul Mitchell, and then Eddie will sign off on things that he would like.
Daniel says, isn't Mitchell all about identifying young talent on the cheap? Ramos doesn't really fit the brief. Yeah, but not every single signing, though. Yeah, you've got to put a bit of experience, but Ramos isn't for long term. It's to cover for, Botman and Lascelles coming back are not going to be match fit for a while after ACL injuries. That is why the Ramos thing certainly wouldn't be a problem for me. I just think it'd be fantastic. And certainly the experience and the things that the likes of Livramento and Lewis Hall can learn from somebody like Ramos, the younger players in the squad. I don't see I really don't see a problem with it. I don't. But hey, everyone's going to sort of have a difference in what we're talking about and players that are coming in. So I wondered what that meant, Susan. You went B.Y, then a question mark, then B.Y again. And then she says, stupid keyboard. Yeah, we've all had that problem, Susan, no doubt about it. Right, let's look at player number 2 for tonight. Now, Alex, before I look at this player, am I able to pronounce his name?
I mean, you'll probably give it a bit of Geordie flavour, which is it's fine, because that's what everybody wants.
All right, then here we go. It is Johan Bakayoko.
See what I mean? He definitely sounds better in Geordie. Everything sounds better in Geordie. That's the whole point. So, a lot of people have been spamming this guy's name for me to review him for quite a while. And I was waiting till there was a decent link for this season before we put him in a show. And there has been in the last couple of weeks. So it's only minor murmurs, but his name's been mentioned by actual papers and websites and sources and journalists. So therefore we get to look at him on a transfer show. So for people who don't know Johan Bakayoko, he plays for PSV Eindhoven.
Why do you say it like that? Why do you say it PSV? PSV. Why don't you just say...
because it's how they say it. They don't say PSV.
We're English and we say PSV. Damn you, PSV. Alex.
It's just how they say it. I say Spanish teams in the Spanish way.
Fair enough. It's fair enough.
I mean, if you want a bit of stato law, what I used to have to do in Spain was absurd, and you'll laugh at this. When I was in school in Spain, people couldn't... If I used to say English cities with an English accent, they wouldn't understand what I was saying. So if I said Manchester United, they wouldn't understand it. You would have to say Manchester. And then they would go, "Oh, see, Manchester,
Yeah,
Manchester."
I know what you mean.
You have to say it in their accent, or they go, "Huh?" So I've done the whole Steve McLaren, Joey Barton pretending. You have to put a weird accent on the city name, otherwise it's straight over the head. They've got no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, side note.
Brilliant from Kenzie, by the way. If I gave Yoko Ono a ride on the back of my bike, then you would have this guy's surname, Bakayoko. That's proper, Johnny. That's brilliant. Excellent from Kenzie. Right, come on, sell this player to us, Alex.
Right, so he is I'd say a trickster, but not so much. Not as tricky as maybe your Cherkies and Rooney Barges and stuff. You're not going to get Cruyff turned and flip-flapped by Mr. Johan. He is going to dink it past you, bit of body feint, and just be an absolute powerhouse. Thank you, Spanish people in the chat. Or Mexican. So yeah, he's a bit more powerful. 5'10.5". Again, we'll round that up. 5'11". So he's an absolute unit. He's a very pacey, young, powerful winger, very, very explosive. And I'd like to bring everybody's attention to this, which I always like to highlight. He apparently is both-footed. I kind of disagree with that because I've seen a lot of this kid. This is somebody that I have actually seen play a considerable amount of times. And I think he's a lot more left-footed, but he looks fine with his right. So I think maybe this is a little bit of, I don't know, website trying to be a bit flashy. Personally, I think he's definitely a left-footed player, but is comfortable with both. So he plays on the right wing, so it's a position that we need. And I think this guy is a little bit more appropriate than a lot of right wings we've reviewed in recent shows, because this guy looks like he's got the physicality, pace, power. He's got the bottle to make it in the tougher division. I think he's got a lot of key attributes in his physicality that would suit the Premier League, suit an Eddie Howe team, suit our team. It makes a lot more sense. In terms of his output, it is rather impressive as well. 4 goals and 1 assist from only 733 minutes this year. He is running rather hot on his XG, though. He should have only scored a couple. He's on 4. But he's been a bit short-changed in the assists department with 2.7. Champions League minutes as well. 351 Champions League minutes. Good experience for the young man. 1 goal and 1 assist in that. And I would like to scroll down and just show you his last season, in which he got 12 goals and 9 assists. So that is 21 goal contributions from the young man last year. They won the division, so he's got experience of being a title-winning team. Fine, it is in the Netherlands, but it still counts. Winning mentality and all. 29 starts, 33 appearances for 2,500 minutes. Again, and he was only sort of 20 years old last season. So fantastic from the young man.
I mean, 33 games, that's pretty impressive, actually, isn't it? 21 goal contributions.
For this kind of guy as well, super explosive. And, this guy's kind of filled the void of... This is what Noni Madueke was doing for PSV before he went. Now this kid's kind of doing that. As you can see, dribbly boy, definitely a dribbly boy. 7.79 progressive carries per 90 and 3 successful take-ons per game.
Not says Alex loves dribbly boys with no end product. What have you missed
goals
about
last
21 goal contributions in 33 games? Says to me he has an end product.
It is in a lower quality division. Sorry, Netherlands. And that's just the stats. But yeah, 12 goals last season with a load of assists and 4 goals so far this season with an assist as well, and goals in the Champions League. I think that's end product. But anyway, we digress. Ball progression is absurd. Is absolutely absurd. And then the ball progression via passing is middle of the park as well for his position, which is fine. Defensive contributions could probably do with a little bit of tinkering. However, 1 tackle per game is not terrible. It's fine. And you've got to consider that this is one of the best teams in the division. So there is not as much he's tasked with doing. So this doesn't mean he can't do it. I think that's really unfair. He's got a lot of pace, power, stamina. I think he very much he could contribute a lot in the defensive third. I think his aerials could go up. I definitely think his tackle metrics could go up. I think he can get involved a lot more than this suggests. I think this does him a bit dirty. Shot volume, by the way, very, very high. 3.37 shots per 90 is lovely. Shot creating actions is awfully high as well. But let's go and show you some of his actual matches. Here he is. See, SofaScore call him left-footed. See, FBref's been done there. Apparently strengths are passing, positioning, and playmaking, but this is just something they pull out of a hat. So let's scroll down. Champions League, he played against PSV against PSG. Sorry, PSG against PSV, and they actually got a 1-1 draw. So Ashraf Hakimi scored for PSG, and they played 4-2-3-1 against them. Noah Lang, of course, very highly rated. We have done him on a transfer show before. Funny attitude. But Bakayoko on the right-hand side. And, of course, good old Mr. Old Black and White. Luke de Jong.
The goals in, by the way.
Yeah, captain for PSV and still an important man. But yeah, Bakayoko on the right. So this was him against Nuno Mendes, Fabian Ruiz, and Bradley Barcola. And his data in this game was he played 84 minutes. Not terrible. A key pass, a cross, 2 shots, 2 out of 3 dribbles. Reasonably good physically as well. Again, against a very difficult team. So we like players who can upset PSG. League form, and Champions League form. He scored a goal in a 6-0 demolition of Zwolle. PSV against Girona. Of course, we played Girona in pre-season. They pumped them 4-1 in the Champions League. We did predict that Girona were going to struggle this season because they were quite poor against us.
4-0.
4-0.
Doing them in injustice there.
Again, 3-0 with a goal away in the Eredivisie. Called up to the Belgium side. I don't know if he started in these games, but we can check. Belgium, Italy. He did not start. They went with Ernie Engels. Did he get subbed on? Where are the subs?
Must have, because he's got a rating.
Yeah, true. He came on right at the end for Timothy.
4 minutes.
What about against Israel? What are you taking him for? If you're going to play bloody... Okay, fine. Who's the Belgium manager? Tedesco, yeah. So Trossard got injured and Bakayoko went on after the 37th minute and played quite a lot. It looked like he played quite well, although he did get a booking. So he played on the left, it looked like, considerably more. 2 successful dribbles, a shot on target, 90% passing accuracy is really, really good as well for his position. Key pass, cross, long ball, created a big chance. Okay in the duels. Yeah, largely okay. Again, 21-year-old, so included at the international stage. He is, everyone watching now, he plays in 15 minutes. He's playing against Shakhtar. So for anybody who watches a bit of Champo, he is playing. So if people want to go and have a look at this guy, he's literally playing in 15 minutes in the Champions League. So go and have a look. That is Johan Bakayoko. Let's have a look at... Oh, God, he's got 18 caps for Belgium already. I didn't notice that before when I was doing the research. Yeah, that's a lot for a 21-year-old. Very impressive. Price. We've not talked about price and contract yet. Contract expires June 2026. So not that long. Short contract.
I'm thinking... I'm probably thinking more 50-55 mil, Alex, to be honest, for this guy. And I think we wouldn't be the only team that's interested in him either. I think there'll be quite a lot of European teams probably quite interested in this guy.
Yeah. Got a lovely comment here from Andy G. God, I love the channel, but Alex can be really boring. It's all right, mate. I only spent sort of an hour and a half doing show prep for people so you can see the players. Go and read Sky Sports about this guy if you really want to, and you can piss off. Absolute bellend.
There you go. Nick Thornton, thank you for your super chat. Alex, Bakayoko or Semenyo, as I'd put money on Mbuemo going to the bin dippers either in January or the summer.
Well, we are going to have to look at Semenyo because he's been heavily linked. He is included. We might not get to him tonight. Mm-hmm. There's a few attackers that have been heavily linked. So Semenyo's definitely on the list.
Yep, absolutely.
I've got no idea about price, but what are we now? The end of this season is 2025.
Yeah, he'll have a year left on his contract at the end of this season. So I'm probably thinking, look, it may be 45, but I just think that, when you look at players' valuations and certainly what this kid can do, I'm probably looking 50-55. I mean,
it's a lot for 1 year left on his contract. A hell of a lot, but I think he's got a lot of people interested in him. I think he's going to be a very important player. And because of his physicality, I think he would translate into a lot of big leagues as well. I think he's got a lot of potential.
I mean, he's certainly somebody. He fits the bill. Right-hand side, right winger, left-footed. He certainly fits the bill for Eddie Howe, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think this guy's tailor-made. He really is tailor-made. He's got all the right attributes. He's still pretty raw, but again, he's the perfect kind of guy to come in and learn, because Eddie Howe is, as we've seen, really good at nurturing and improving players like your Lewis Halls and stuff. I think this guy could come in and learn a bit of defensive acumen and understand how to play in the Premier League. And he's got all of the right attacking attributes and flair and talent.
Yeah.
And if you go and watch a bit of this guy, everything we were missing against West Ham, this guy's got stuff like that. He's got lovely right-footed crosses as well as left-footed near post shots. He tries curlers. He'll bit of everything. So he's got a lot of variety in his attacking kind of arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a bit of support coming in for you in the chat, as we'd expect, Alex. Clue says, what about Cherky, seeing as Leon might have some trouble coming? We are going to sort of look at all the players at Leon.
I've not finished prepping for my Leon show, although if it's boring, according to Andy, then we'll just bin the whole show.
Let it go, Alex.
Nah.
Dear. Listen, some people will never know how much prep goes into the shows, Alex, that you or me or anybody else does.
It frustrates me when it's something that I've researched, because a lot of this stuff takes ages. So
exactly, exactly. Right, final player of the evening, Alex.
Ooh, I don't know who, because I've got Semenyo, but I kind of don't want to do him now because have we got enough time to do a decent one on Semenyo?
Well, we've got 13 minutes left.
Him for next
13 minutes left. I mean, it's up to you, mate.
Go on, then. We'll do Semenyo.
All right, then. Here we go. Let's go. Let's take a look at this guy, because this guy...
You've got to say his name first.
Antoine Semenyo. Or if you're looking at the full name, it is Antoine Semenyo.
So he is English.
Alex, you're evil for doing this to me when you know I have Parkinson's disease, and it's very difficult for me to pronounce.
It's not to do with your Parkinson's.
It is. It's very difficult sometimes for me to sort of pronounce names quickly that I don't know, and you keep doing this to me. I think you're very evil, bastard.
I didn't know there was a correlation between Parkinson's and saying Ghanaian names.
There's the correlation between Parkinson's and actually, sometimes you can't get your words out that you mean to say, or very slow at saying it. But I'm getting there, Alex. I'm used to this.
You do very well,
now, quite frankly.
You do very well. No,
thank you.
Fine.
I appreciate it. Right, a lot of fans interested in this guy, obviously. So let's have a look at him, because I really do like this guy as well.
Yeah, so I mean, he's basically everything we've just described about Bakayoko. Maybe not quite as he's not got the additional chonk that I would say that Bakayoko has. I think Bakayoko is a little bit more explosive and powerful, but Semenyo is not far behind. Little bit more slight, but considerably more experienced. Being nearly 25 years old in a couple of months' time. Of course, he was born in London, but he does play for Ghana. And plays for Bournemouth, for people who don't know.
As well, Alex.
Go away, Todd. You've signed everybody.
He's every bloody transfer show.
50 grand a week with quite a long contract. So that could be a bit of an issue. Goal contributions this season. I mean, it's technically the same as what Bakayoko's produced, but it is in considerably more minutes. But it is kind of on point. He's got 4.1 XG and he scored 4 goals. So that's what he's earned. He's been shortchanged a little bit in the assists department. So whoever's up front for Bournemouth needs to maybe be asked a few questions. Let's scroll down and have a look at his data. So there we go. As you can see, a reasonable amount of defensive contribution along with dribbly bits. So dribbly bits, shots, and a bit of defensive work.
Does his pass completion and stuff like that worry you, Alex? Because it's quite low, his completion?
It depends on style. If they've gone very, very direct, and anytime this guy tries a pass, it's something super dangerous, then by default you're going to lose the ball a lot more. If it's a riskier build-up play or counter attack, I don't know enough about Bournemouth in terms of how he tries every single pass. I'm not sure. Maybe this is doing him dirty. Again, if this is a lot more certain that we might sign him, I'll go and find out those facts myself. These are the kinds of things that I have to go and figure out before we do transfer shows, guys, by the way, just so I'm not chatting absolute nonsense. I've got to be able to answer all of these questions. It's quite hard. So
you've got to be careful. You're not boring, sure. Mate. You've got to be careful.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God, let's move on from pass completion percentages. Jesus. I mean, if anybody's curious, Miggy's is really high, so it doesn't mean it's necessarily a good thing. So ball progression is decent with progressive carries, about 4 per 90. So decent, 2 successful take-ons per game. And then he's contributing significantly aerially. I mean, how tall is he? He's 5'11". I mean, that's fantastic. He's winning 2 balls in the air every 90 as a right winger, which is great. I think that's really, really impressive. And I mean, the percentile backs him up. He's in the top 1% in Europe for that. His blocks is right up there as well. So he puts himself about, puts his body on the line, tries to compete for headers, wins a lot of them as well. So really, really impressive spread for a Premier League. Obviously, I know that there was a lot more green on Bakayoko's graphs. Please remember he's in the Netherlands. So this guy's doing it in the Premier League, which is considerably more difficult. Who he profiles like as well. So we've got some interesting players on this list. Iñaki Williams, of course, is one of Paul's favourites alongside his brother. Justin Kluivert, who was fantastic at Roma and disappeared and then has resurfaced at Bournemouth. Who else you got? Daniel Marlon, that a lot of people wanted as well. We played against him when we played Dortmund in the Champions League. And Adeyemi as well from Dortmund. So, and there's even more, Martinelli and Kudus. So some fantastic players on this list that he's being compared to. Yep. However, we do need to go and type his name into Transfermarkt because I've not done that yet. So let's go and paste it in here. So 21 caps for Ghana. 2 goals as well. Price-wise,
not a freaking chance to see worth that. You know what it is? No. You can put a lot more money onto that current market value. I'm telling you, there's no way that is 20 million. Not for the way he's performing. No way.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a load of chocolate biscuits. That's nonsense. He's going to be way more expensive than 20. No shadow of a doubt. I think it's sort of, I think even 40 would be a bit shy, to be honest. I think it's going to be more than that. He's got a long contract. You know, at the end of this season, he's still got 4 years left. So that's they've got no reason to sell him. Well, I mean, they could do with some money, but you know, it's Bournemouth, but still, he's a good quality attacker for them, and they've just lost Dom Solanke for a big chunk of change. Yeah. Depends what kind of position Bournemouth are in at the end of the season and what their finances are like. We'll have to wait and see. They might not be willing to entertain a transfer unless you give them a really good amount. In terms of actual recent games as well, of course, we did have to play against him at the start of the season. So recent games, not bad. Of course, he scored against Man City recently as well. So high ratings against Brighton, Brentford, and his game against Man City. Let's have a look at this one, shall we? So, yeah, played on the right in a 4-2-3-1. Justin Kluivert behind the striker, interestingly enough.
Is that man of the match, that star above him?
Well, it's highest rated player on SofaScore, so it might as well be. Antoine Semenyo, there we go. So he got 1 goal from 0.55 XG. He got 3 key passes in the game, an accurate long ball. He tried 4 shots, 2 on target. 6 out of 7 completed dribbles as well against Man City is fantastic. 11 out of 12 ground duels. I mean, this is what a lot of players and teams have been doing against Man City this season. We did it. We played out our skin against them. A lot of teams are doing that. This guy has had one of the matches of the season for himself. He got a goal, and those physicals against Man City is insane. That's fantastic from the young man. That's very, very impressive. So dribbly boy on the right-hand side, wins a lot of duels, wins a lot of headers as well. Defensive contribution is decent. I think everybody can kind of see why the conversation is between Brian Mbeumo from Brentford and Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth as the two Premier League proven options that are both in the right age bracket. So yeah, this guy's 100% on the list. Probably in the top 3 or top 5 on a list. Sure, he's being talked about by the club. It just definitely depends on price. Price has got to come into it because he'll be expensive.
Well, I mean, look, for me, it's between him and Mbeumo as to who I particularly think we might go for in January. I think it's clear, it's clear even after sort of Monday night now that we need a right winger or a right-sided forward. It's clear to me now that has to be an absolute must. Now, whether
somebody's just pointing something out. I think I do owe it to everyone to tell you this because I know a lot of people have strong feelings about it. Do you want to put it up one more time? He has played for the Mackhams.
Well, so did Shea Given.
I'm just saying, a lot of people have strong feelings about it. I don't overly like recruiting people who have played for Sunderland, but
I mean, he played 7 games for them. I mean, that was that. It must have been a loan from Bristol City, was it?
Yeah, it was a loan from Bristol City.
Yeah,
when he was 19, it was in It was when Sunderland were in League One. To be fair,
yeah, absolutely.
190 minutes.
That doesn't worry me. David, thank you for your super chat. Joel, what the hell, Alex? Come on, I just nah.
Ordóñez.
Yes, him.
Ordóñez, or however you say that. Even I'm struggling with that one.
Yeah. But David, thank you for your super chat, matey. Much appreciated. Colleague says so did Jack Colback, and so did what's his face? The
Key.
Who?
Was it Ki Sung Young? Did that guy play for him? Because he was
what about
Swansea, wasn't he?
the right back, the American guy? Yedlin. He played for Sunderland early doors as well, so it doesn't bother me at all. Paul Bracewell, there's another one who was absolutely fantastic when he came to us. So that doesn't worry me at all. But some very, very good players in there tonight, undoubtedly. But listen, guys, thank you very much for watching. It's been a great show, great chat again, apart from a couple of absolute tosspots in there. But you get that when you're live, unfortunately. But they're swiftly dealt with. But thank you very much for your super chats and memberships. And, of course, thank you, Mods, and thank you to Alex for your very hard work putting the show together, matey. Well, thank you to everybody, really. But don't forget, please do subscribe if you are new to the channel and like what you see. And, of course, please go and subscribe to TTR Xtra, our sister channel, which is going to be a fantastic football channel with lots of commentaries and, football shows in general away from Newcastle United on there. Don't worry, I'm coming to the poll, guys. Don't worry. So thank you to everybody for that. We are very near 1,000 subscribers already on the second channel. So thank you very much. And of course, please do check out our sponsors, Mamaroo Records. If you're ever in Whitley Bay, go and check them out. If you're into your music, your vinyl and your merchandise and things like that, mention to Steve that you're a Toon Review subscriber and I'm sure you're a good deal. And of course, if you can't get in there, they do have a website, which is pinned right at the top of the description, along with our link to the second channel. Right, let's take a look at the poll. What do you reckon, Alex?
I'd probably say there's 3 options, right? So I'll go with 50% in, and then the rest of it's split between on the fence and out.
Well, you bang on, actually. 50% are in, 22% out, and 28% are on the fence.
So there's a 22% out at the moment.
Yeah.
For the Toon Review fans.
The Toon Review fans, yeah. So basically, I mean, look, that actually was probably was about 47% for most of the show. So it's about 50-50 now, guys. On the fence, I mean, so it's around 50-50. So we'll see how that goes in the future. And certainly,
or it's only 20-ish for out. It depends which way you spin that. So.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I like to be a bit of a Spin doctor, though, Alex. David, thank you for another super chat. Alex, check out that Joel guy when you can. He's a great centre back or right back.
Shall
so
indeed.
I'm sure he will.
That Joel guy.
Yes. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget, tomorrow at 7 o'clock is the match preview for the Palace game. What do we do? What does Eddie do to put things right? Are you confident? We'll obviously do the score predictions and things like that as well. And then Friday, we've got the press conference reaction at 11 o'clock. That should be a bit of a spicy one. And, of course, TTR Friday on 7 o'clock on Friday night. And then, of course, 2:30 p.m. We've got Match Day Live on Saturday and 3 o'clock kickoff in that game with full commentary from me and Billabong as well. So lots to come. And, of course, news shows. If there is news to bring you, we will bring you to it right on this channel. What was that, Alex?
Nothing. You just made me laugh when you said Billabong.
Well, I just come up with different names for him. And Todd Bowley says the Toon Review transfer shows are the best. That's where he probably gets most of his.
Go watch the Blue Review, Todd.
Indeed. But thank you, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday evening. Wishing time away there, and we will see you all again tomorrow. In the meantime, good night.
Come back and check out some green.